In this video, we're going to rig an entire character from start to finish. And I'm going to start with the cute little sprite that I modeled in 2405 and show you how to model a non-humanoid character. I mean, it's kind of can be argued that he's a little humanoid, but he's really not going to work for a biped. And let me just, so I render him out here, and he's got a balloon. We can also create a bone chain for inanimate objects. I can turn this balloon into another character with a mind of its own and create a bone structure for the string line that's holding the balloon that he's holding onto. But also, if he moves, I can cause the balloon to animate as well in an interesting way if I want. So that's possible. All right, so there's the cute little sprite, and we're gonna just go through the process of rigging him so we can animate him. Okay, so I'm in my front view here, and I've got this set to wireframe so that I can work through it. I may also, when I'm working, want to freeze my selection. It just makes it easier to work on top of it without it being an issue at all. But if you have this set to anything like edge faces or any of these other, you won't be able to work with the bones. So wireframe or freeze your selection. Okay. My character has been completely, he's a polygon model. It's been completely modeled from a base shape, and so the only parts to him that aren't attached on his body besides the balloon are his eyes. Right? So in the past, you've been attaching eyes to the body for previous classes. In this class, you don't want to do that. And if you have linked your eyes or anything to your character, that's part of the character, you probably want to unlink them for this. I was just sitting here trying to think of situations where you wouldn't, where you want to link it. Things like clothes, like a hat or whatever, or an object, then you want to link those to the body. But for the eyes, we're going to link those to the structure. And he's got this light inside of him that I'm going to, for now, move off so it's not in the way. Okay. I'm going to go to Systems and Bones. And I'm going to, this is good. Once you change this one time you've been working with it and don't reset, it will save what you worked with before. And I'm just going to start with those because, as we normally do here, we will create something and we'll modify it to get what we need. Okay, so I have to think about how I want to articulate my character. I want his arms to move and his feet to move, and I may want these spikes on the top of his head to move. And they need to figure all that out. I also want him to be able to turn his head from left to right. So in the process of knowing that I want those animations, I'm going to create a chain that best represents those. So I'm going to start with his head by putting the bone to about his neck. That's the bone that's going to allow me to rotate his head from left to right. And then I'm going to create another bone here that is going to simply be a place to allow me to link my other bones to. You can get rid of that little nub by clicking on it. Oops, look at my keyboard. And hitting delete. I don't need it here. Okay, so you see that I now have two bones. This bone's going to allow me to rotate the head from left to right, and this one is going to be the anchor for my character. Okay, zoom in here. Since these are linked, I'm going to select them both. And whoops. And I'm going to put these, shift these so that they're in the middle of my character. Okay, looks pretty good. Zoom in a little bit more here. Okay, and now I'm going to start with the first one. And I'm going to want to make adjustments to the bone parameters. Let's try, I'm just, from experience, you get better at guesstimating in the beginning. I'm trying to make this bone bigger so it fills more of the space. Okay. Let's do 35. That's pretty close. And I'm going to remove the taper. Actually, you can do it. Yep, you can do that. You can take your taper negative so that it creates that little flare out. All right, let me try minus 25. Yeah, there we go. See, that bone does a much better job of fitting inside his head. Now I'm going to fill in these areas over here with these fins. And the fins are already on. I just need to increase them. Whoops. I'm going to change the taper to 0. Let's see. And so that was, oops. Oh, I see. It's coming out of his mouth and out of his head. I don't need it to be. So you got to watch this in all these 4 views. Now remember, the bones aren't going to render, so it's not too problematic, but you also don't want it sticking outside of the skin, because that can create issues. So in this case, 1.4. Okay, my other fins, I can increase that one. Let's just go ahead and put 10 on there. And then same thing for my back fin. Nope, too much. Still too much. Let's just make them 5. I don't want them to stick out that much. And I'm going to go and change that one to 1. Okay. So it just sort of helps fill in a little bit. And you'll see as I animate this why this helps. Okay, and so then my second bone down here, I want to be able to have it fill out just a little bit more. I'm not going to move it or use it to animate my character, so I could leave it the way it is. I don't really need to invest much time in this. But I am going to make it just a little bit bigger. Just so I can see it, grab it, move it, and know that it's there. Okay? So I now have those 2 bones in place. Now, I want to create bones for my arms and my legs. And I'm just going to go and create those. And I want to, for my hand, I want to start at the shoulder and work out. And so for him, he's just going to have this little flap. I don't really need anything major. Oh, look at that. It almost fit perfectly. Okay, and then right click to be done. And I don't want that little nub there. I'm going to delete that. That looked pretty good. It looks pretty good. Okay, so I just need to move it into place in the top view here. If it'll let me pick it. There we go. Let's make some adjustments. Side fins. Let's bring this in. There we go. This a little bit. Yes, sir. Let's see. Front fin. Now we're good. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then we're going to come down here and create his leg bone. And we're going to start from where the pelvis is and come down. Right click, and then delete that nub. And adjustments, move this into place. Okay, select it. I want to bring those fins down. I'm just going to try 0.5. Oh, I actually maybe want that one to be a little bit bigger. Let's make it 1. So back fin, front fin. There we go. Now, I need to make this width thinner so it fits better inside my leg. So I'm going to bring that in. And my height is going to be a little bit wider so it fits better this way. Okay? So when I adjusted the width, it made it thinner over here so it fits better inside that leg. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so I now have these this arm bone and this leg bone. I have my skull and my spine. Pelvic, skull in one. And you see there's a gap. Now, you could fill this in all the way if you want to, but you don't have to. Unlike real biology, it doesn't have to connect because we can link it. But before I do that, I'm going to mirror these bones to the other side. So I have them on the other side identical. And mirror, copy, and I'll offset it. That's interesting. He doesn't look quite symmetrical, does he? I thought he was. I guess he wasn't. Okay, so I just move that over, move that into place. Alright, so everything's good. I have all my bones. Now, if I want, as I said, I can continue in adding more bones for his spikes, but we'll talk about that next. I just want to get the main character set up so you guys can start working on getting your rigs set up for your characters. And we will continue this in the next video.